everybody, and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League. My name is Gordo. I am joined tonight by Gigatron. 2/22/2022 is a Tuesday, and we have got Glaive Emerald taking on Predictive Gaming Anubis here. Both teams looking to get another win here to move themselves up in the standings. Glaive sitting at 2-0 so far. Predictive Gaming, they've got one more series under their belts, but they are sitting at 1-2.
Yeah, 1-2. I mean, it would be nice if they get 2-2, so then we could go with the theme of, Tuesday and everything now. But I kind of want to see Glaive win just because they've had this streak going right now, and I hope they can keep that momentum going with them.
Yeah, for sure. And this is, the beginning of turning over a new leaf here for the side of PGA. They have been playing without their starting jungler and mid laner, Snow and Dragon Slayer, for the first 2 weeks. Got them back last week, showed some success once they were able to get them back onto the roster. And now returning once again for week number 4. Seems like their roster issues, at least for now, are behind them. As we're getting through these picks and bans, the Karma going to get banned away here by the side of Glaive. Do know that that's been a favored pick of Scott in particular for Glaive so far, but this time around on the blue side, they're going to ban that one away.
I think sometimes it's okay to ban it just because of the fact that if you think they're going to pick it in their rotation, when you could just pick up Thresh like this right away.
Insta-lock Thresh.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, I love it. They already know what they want to play, and you expect that they're going to go real heavy, real quick. Balls to the wall.
Yeah, for sure here. Is going to be both of these guys pretty substantial Thresh players. Got 2 games on it apiece. It's going to be the third now for Scott. Tom Kench going to be the lock-in in response here from the side of PGA. Tom Kench likely going to be going into that support position, although we see it flexed around from time to time. And we'll see 80 carries on the board, something to keep in mind here. The Jinx, the Caitlyn, the Zeri, all on the board, all available. Jinx is going to be the one that ends up getting chosen here for Butternubs. We'll see what Impulse wants to take. That Zeri, an attractive option that pokes out on both people's radars here. They've each played 1 game of it so far, and still valued super highly in a lot of what we've seen in pre-made competitive. But the Caitlyn is the hover, has already played that one twice as well, has Impulse, so would not be surprised to see that one being the selection.
We're going to see it. Yeah, it's definitely a really good one. Really impressive for lane. You have best range right there. You can just poke out pretty easily. You can set up with Thresh with your traps, with his flay and his hook. And you have a Trundle to kind of pair up with it. So we're going to be really good to go into Tom, whether he is flexing into another lane or going support. I am assuming he's most likely going support. So it should be easier to gank and subjugate him.
Absolutely here. Definitely puts a damper on a lot of the jungle selections. It's good into the Xin Zhao. That's not going to stop Snow from locking it in here. Third selection there on the red side going into phase 2 bans. We got junglers in a bot lane for both of these team compositions. Solo lanes looking to follow soon here. Keeping our eyes on what Severe has played so far, has really been going in for these Graves selections especially. That's already been banned away. Has played a lot of the Gwen as well. That's also banned away. So a lot of those blind pick top laners now a little bit more limited. The Gragas is another one that comes to my mind. It's one that he's already selected. Interested to see if Glaive decides to ban that one away to try to pinch the pool a little bit here. Something else that's still available is that Yone that's been banned a whole bunch against Dragon Slayer in the games that he's played so far. The question is it going to be left up this time around?
I feel like no. I'd rather not see it just because it's kind of Gasso. If you're really impressive, okay, I'm just going to eat my words. We could see it at this point. Doesn't mean he's going to choose it, but we do see there's the Victor ban. So Victor's been performing very well. Ari, with her new update, has been excruciatingly seeing higher numbers, on her. So I think that's great that we're seeing more play, but yeah, needs ban. I'd rather not see it.
Yeah, curious to see now if that Yone does just get locked on in here. It's certainly counterable in the mid lane, but doesn't have any matchups that are really too impossible. That's going to be Annie locked on in here. Curious if that was a last-second scramble or if that is going to go on through. Looks like it's sticking, so that is going to be the Annie lock in here, presumably for the mid lane here on the side of PGA.
Yeah, Annie is an interesting pickup. Has the built-in stun, where they're passive, able to kind of get that extra speed boost from her shield, able to provide more of that AoE lockdown when he needed to. I think Syndra's a nicer pickup, just because you could just throw your spheres down, push her back, get her stunned, get her locked up pretty well, and Unleash Power is just also a really dumb ability that when you get all your spheres out, you can just pop someone pretty easy.
Yeah, feels like a great counter pick for Panda here. Syndra gets done a lot of what the Annie wants to get done. That's the old LS argument, right? Is why are these low elo players playing Syndra when they could just be playing Annie? These guys aren't low elo by any means, but the Syndra is, once you get into these higher echelons of play, does really accomplish a lot of the very same things that you want to accomplish with the Annie, just at a little bit higher of a range and with a little bit more of a skill shot stopgap on actually being able to accomplish what you're looking to do. Should be a very good matchup here for Panda on that Syndra up against this Annie. So going to be keeping an eye on that mid lane to see what he's able to do in the 1v1. The Wukong is going to be the blind top laner, and it looks like Severe is going to go for this Ornn to play into it. So going to look to just scale here up against the Monkey Man. Doesn't care about the Trundle on the other team. Is perfectly willing to tank that Subjugate if that's what it ends up coming down to. Feels like that's going to give enough opportunity for the rest of the team fighting this comp to play out as they're looking for. They've got a lot of AoE here with the Jinx and the Annie, a lot of engage tools with the Ornn, the Tahm Kench, and the Xin Zhao. They're very happy to play this one front to back, Trundle or no Trundle. Glaive, on the other hand, they've got really strong pick potential with this Thresh, Caitlyn, Syndra setup. They can really look to play in the side lanes with this Wukong. Not going to be a lot of picks that can look to match him. And Wukong, of course, can also bring his own power to those team fights if he can get the right angle for his flank Cyclones.
Yeah, those flank Cyclones, I mean, they're really good. I love it when someone can perform that kind of style. Set up maybe for Syndra just to get, a nice stun off, especially on multiple people. You could even set up really well even with Trundle's Pillar, just so you can kind of pin someone like into the terrain there, or if you can just get them just knocked up enough so that way, hey, now you just oriented where you were going, now you gotta make a different move of do you flash or do you just have to commit for the die, on yourself there. So, and I like this. Again, I'm really excited for both teams just because, again, we have full rosters here. We have a really good mid laners on both sides. I'm interested to see mid lane matchup. I think the most. I don't always say bot, but I'm kind of looking towards this mid. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely here. Feels like it's a chance for Panda to really flex his muscles a little bit here. Should have the super favorable matchup against Dragon Slayer. Should be able to keep that lane pushed in. Should be able to go and influence some of these side lanes. The Wukong would definitely appreciate getting put a little bit ahead. Can try to shut down that Jinx in the early game too. The Tahm Kench not going to have access to that Devour until level 6. And, Caitlyn going to naturally be pushing that lane pretty hard. Really want to abuse that path.
Exactly. I mean, hey, you can abuse with Caitlyn and Thresh, do it. I mean, just show like your range of power that this team has, that when you try to go in, you could just have Trundle and Wukong just try to flank and, knock you up, get you locked down on top of Syndra, just being able to be like, hey, what are you doing? I'm going to push you back or stun you. Just get off of me. I'm going to be able to, protect myself that little bit better. And that's where like the Xin Zhao trying to collapse in, or say Horn going off. Those things will be really good engage tools that, Anubis has, which I do like. I like both sides. I really don't know who I really want to give it to, though, just based on draft. I don't know about you. Do you have a preferred? Am I good?
Yeah,
oh.
Can you not hear me? Can nobody
hear
me?
I didn't hear you.
Oh.
No, I didn't hear you. So I was like, is my internet going out of me?
I don't know. So one of us is having trouble here. I'll trust the production will tell me if it's on my end. But yeah, no, I'm really looking at Glaive's comp here. I really like what they've got set up for themselves. I think this Wukong is going to get stronger up against the Ornn once he gets a couple of levels in his belt. I think Syndra is going to be stronger than Annie at most phases of the lane there, as long as he plays it out correctly and abuses the range advantage that he's going to be bringing to the table. And now, and also looking towards this bottom lane, Caitlyn and Thresh should naturally have the push. I think Caitlyn's still pretty busted. I think this is a really good recipe for Fall Fox on the Trundle to really be able to have a lot of success here. He's got a lot of really strong lanes to back up, a lot of opportunity to invade and get an advantage over this Xin Zhao. And I would like to see, Glaive Emerald play this out standard, get themselves their early advantages, start stacking up those dragons, and they'll be set up to try to win on out before Predictive Gaming Anubis can start to really scale and go for their later 5-on-5 team comps with their Ornn upgrades, with everything that Jinx brings to the table.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared about that because of the fact that if you go late, then a lot more people come online from Anubis here, and I don't know, like the Jake's coming online more. I mean, hey, you know what? You get your empowered mythic there. It does a lot on top of Annie being able to do a lot more damage too. Tom can just get really tanky, and you just don't want to deal with that. I mean, again, you have the subjugate, but do you really want to waste it on that, or would you rather use it on Xin Zhao just to burst them down quick and easy and then deal with everyone else later? So, what was I gonna say?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
here.
I think I have to go with Glaive as well. I like it. I don't have to say anymore because you literally said what I was going to say. So.
All right. Well, excited to see it play on out here. We're going to throw it to a quick break while we get loaded into the Rift for game number 1. Don't go anywhere. We're going to bring you every bit of Glaive Emerald up against Predictive Gaming Anubis tonight in their best of 3. It's all going to start in just a couple minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast of the Aegis Defenders League, where Glaive Emerald is taking to the Rift up against Predictive Gaming Anubis. Glaive Emerald on a perfect 2-0 run so far, 4-1 game record. Going to be looking to keep that going up against PGA, who now with their full roster finally available are going to be looking to turn what is now a 1-2 season back around into the green. For that, they're going to have to go to an even 2-2 first and foremost, and they'd have to take out Glaive Emerald to get there. Going with this scaling team fighty draft in order to try to get there, see how they end up executing.
Yeah, looks like they might go for an early ward invade, I'm assuming here, just trying to get it maybe right by the toucans here, or maybe just put it up top of the red buff here, but I'm going to eat my words. It's a 5-man stack. They are going to invade.
Yeah, delayed invade coming out here through from the side of Predictive Gaming. Doesn't look like they're going to spot anybody. They've got their scanner running. Impulse has moved around to the other side, but this is going to be a successful red buff steal. They've warded out the opposing red buff on the side of Glaive, so they understand that PGA have to be on the bottom side, but not going to be able to realize that their own red buff's been swollen. Maybe the teleport from Severe gives them a little bit of a hint that some shenanigans have been afoot. We'll see how Fox decides to path from here on out.
Yeah, I think maybe he does more of that vertical, probably goes for Wolves, goes up. Could probably get the Scuttle Crab like on his way back and everything there. Just kind of control that top side. The only issue then is he's going to have to be ganking then Severe or Dragon Slayer here instead of going after potentially matching up Snow here, just because he's going to have that little bit of advantage of potentially getting that bot lane gank off sooner.
Definitely. So it's going to be the completed top side clear here for Fox. He is looking to cross over that river, so does seem to sense that something's been about, or maybe it's just going to go in for a little bit of a gank on Dragon Slayer here. Wave is pretty equal in mid lane, but Fox is waiting around to try to make something happen. Dragon Slayer stepping up, looking for the stun. That's going to be the moment to come on through here. They stun each other, but Fox is coming on through with that pillar. Going to be another sphere landed. There goes the pillar after the flash, and that's going to be first blood picked up for Panda there in the mid lane. Well played gank by Fox.
Yeah, Fox just was like, you know what? I know I'm going to have to do vertical. It's okay. I'm just going to see if I can help out my laner get ahead that little bit more. And you saw that Dragon Slayer was pushing up a little more than he should, and Panda was just like, okay, we can take advantage. They got the good pillar down, they got the flash out, and they were able to just secure that there.
Fox getting collapsed on, though, going for the return invade. Is going to be able to pick up the opposing red buff, so is going to be 2 buffs for each jungler, assuming that Snow eventually makes his way back on over to the blue side. And now Snow's actually found himself down on CS despite having stolen away 2 camps there, and despite the fact that Fox has dedicated time now to being able to get a gank off. So well played from this situation here from the Trundle, going to end up feeling pretty good about himself, gets himself the top scuttler as well. Nice 2-man stun from Panda. Snow is just trying to force this wave into the opposing turret, but Fox is here as well. These guys are just going to have to back on away, going to have to call that a loss in the mid lane, and we talked about Panda flexing his muscles here on the Syndra. Now has a very great start to keep on doing just that.
Yeah, I mean, you have that little bit of a lead right now, especially between the CS and the kill. You're able to just, again, show why Syndra is a very highly tested pick. Oh my.
Oh, stun doesn't end up landing there on a Dragon Slayer, but it doesn't look like it even needs to. The slow from Chomp going to be more than enough. Fox claims that one for himself. 0-2-0 start for Dragon Slayer on the Annie now. This mid lane, talked about watching it, and it is swinging well towards the Glaive Emerald side at this point. Pushing the bot lane from Impulse is underway, but so far, they've not really been able to force back this top catch the Thresh. Not really the duo that something like a Morgana or a Lux is. They don't really pose that much of a threat here. Scott going to miss his skill shots there, now at risk of getting engaged on by B-Kip, going to have to flash away there from the Abyssal Dive. 3-on-3 in the bottom lane, and the Summoner spell trade ends up coming up towards the side of PGA. Impulse looking to step up here, knows that he might get collapsed on, has Fox for the backup. Snow dashes on in, might be up a little bit too far though, gets chomped back onto. A little bit of a trade coming in here from the bottom lane. They're both just going to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they really need to do. The good thing is you had that good pathing from Fox to follow Snow to make sure that, hey, this way we could try to get something onto them, but we kind of overstayed our welcome a little bit. Have to burn a some basically, on Scott there, and unfortunately, nothing comes really about it other than just okay, hey, you know what? This gives that little bit more of an edge to Anubis. Maybe Anubis could get another gank coming out from Snow, but it looks like he's going back here at mid.
Snow going for the repeat gank, really trying to get his mid laner back into it, but he's just going to get met with a scatter of the week. Tries to dive through on a Panda, really trying to force this one. Scott going to land the death sentence, though. Flash is forced out of Snow. Dragon Slayer now still flashless, left all alone here. Going to end up giving another kill over to Panda. Snow now getting forced out of his own jungle, trying to dash away, trying to use the Audacious Charge to get a little bit of distance, but has ended up just leashing the birds here for the side of Fox, who is feeling very much in control in this jungle matchup. And Dragon Slayer, they're trying to bail him out. It just keeps not ending up working out, though. Another death goes on over. Another kill for Panda. Feeling very good on this Syndra.
Yeah, and I feel like if you could get a Syndra ahead, she really kind of captivates team fights and the lane even more, just because she has that little bit more of a range that eventually is Annie, but like you talked about, is more of that like skill-based style instead of just the point and click. So you can provide a little bit more utility for your team and just be very impressive.
Yeah, and this whole while, all the action's been concentrated in the mid lane, and the side lanes, they've been going pretty much straight even, and that's to be expected in the top lane. The Wukong, the Ornn, they're not really these pre-6 monsters, but in the bottom lane, really would have liked to see Impulse and Scott be able to find a way to really abuse the range advantage that Caitlyn brings to the table early on, try to force down some early turret plates, use the fact that they are that double range bot lane, but so far, the brawling ability that Tahm Kench seems to have netted them their way through it. It's going to be pretty even CS. Slightly to Jinx going to get nullified here pretty soon. Scott, though, looking for another gank in the mid lane. That's going to be another scatter of the week landed. And, oh, the hook ends up landing onto a minion just barely. That's not going to be enough to save Dragon Slayer, though. Fox picks up another kill, puts the Annie down at 0-4. Now looking to keep sieging onto mid.
Yeah, and this is where they're kind of getting that lead off Ornn.
That ulti's traded in the top lane. Shaden going to flash over that Call of the Forge God, but it's not going to end up putting him ahead in the trade. Searing Charge comes on through, only lands onto the decoy. They're going to back away from each other there, but the Sheen is not the brawling power that Shaden needs to be able to take this fight here at level 7. Ends up blowing his flash for nothing from the side of Severe.
Yeah, it really needs to kind of make sure that he's not going to get pushed out too hard, overcommit, and sometimes we do that a little bit as Wukongs, and it's okay. Just kind of just keep that lead going for you, and went a little wide.
Fox moving down here, looking to see what else he can pick up. Nothing to be found on the B-Kip at Butternubs, though. They're going to sit pretty under their turret. Severe hasn't recalled since forcing Shaden back earlier on. Shaden does expend the TP to get back to lane, so he's going to be a little bit stronger now until Severe completes his own recall.
Yeah, it's still good use to try to stop the backs this way then. Hey, you know what, he's probably going to TP. You already know you TP'd, so yeah, it'll be the case. But it looks like he's just going to run back. I mean, the wave is pushed in. We see a lot of pigs here in this mid side right now.
Yeah, finally, they get a wave in the bottom lane. Impulse going to be able to pick himself up a turret plate. It's what you want to do on this Caitlyn, is a better late than never here, so they do manage to secure one. Still 5 more minutes to maybe claim a few others. Fox taking this whole bottom side of the Xin Zhao's jungle. Snow does not feel comfortable going in to brawl it out with this 2-in-0 Trundle. Now looking once again in the bottom lane. Not really finding too much of an opportunity unless Butternubs and B-Kip try to really hard shove this wave. Instead, gonna have to chill for a little while. Now gold spent once again for Panda. Teleport back to mid lane. We'll see how strong this Syndra is. No mythic item completed quite yet, but look at the item difference between him and the Annie. This is a big lead for Panda.
Yeah, the chapter versus just the 2 tomes. Yeah, it's really going into Panda's favor, and I like that. He had a really good ward too, which kind of spot out there that Annie was shifting up. And you already thought Xin Zhao was kind of posturing that way too, maybe trying to get the gank onto Shaden, but they got caught out, which is good. So this way now they kept that awareness, able to safely get away, but now try to trade it on the Severe here, but I don't know how much you're going to do with that.
Yeah, just trying to poke on away. Gets the additional range from the crushing blow to try to swing it on through the minions. Severe going all in though. Has Snow coming on in for the gank. Nice dodge away from Shaden using the little mini dash you get there from the decoy. Is going to be able to escape with his life. That's going to be called the Forge God used from the side of Severe. And Snow just cannot get anything going early game on this Xin Zhao. He's going to end up getting outscaled eventually by the Trundle, so really is eager to try to swing one of these matchups. Has tried to go mid multiple times, but every time it just doesn't end up working out. Top lane going to find much of the same.
Yeah, I feel like this team coming out from Glaive here is one of those ones that they drafted in the case you try to go in, we can peel back very easily, and hopefully keep that pressure up. Oh,
ooh, that's the two-man Cyclone coming on through from Shaden. That's what you need to do to be able to melt on through these big tanky targets like the Ornn. Fox shows up just in time to throw on down the pillar, get the slow on across, and Shaden picks up the kill in the top lane, his first of the game. Going to start to put Severe on the back foot and get a little bit more income into that monkey. Now it's going to be Impulse and Scott taking this 2v2, not coming out ahead though. Butternubs weaving in the auto attacks very effectively, but that is a big stun coming on through and a nice flash from Scott to block away the super mega death rocket. It's going to be a flash out from B-Kip to keep his 80 carry safe. Nobody ends up going on down to the bottom lane. It's a trade of flashes support for 80 carry.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate thing is you are missing a flash now on your 80 carry, but again, this is still really good for them. You pulled Panda down, so this way hopefully Dragon Slayer can get a little bit more CS there, able to try to push the lane in that a little bit more and everything. But yeah, I mean, still really good for both sides there, only just missing out flashes.
Yeah, Panda, guess doesn't, or ends up getting the ulti nullified, I think, there by that Devour, is how that must have played out, as Panda, despite his big gold lead, despite how strong he is on this Syndra, doesn't actually end up picking up any kills, even after landing the Scatter the Weak stun onto Butternubs. Now has the Luden's Echo complete, though, coming back out on the map as clearly the strongest player in the game. Fox has already completed his Divine Sunderer as well. He is a menace to fight against in the 1v1. Anywhere you find him here, they're setting up for the Dragon. Hextech ended up going on over towards the side of Predictive Gaming. Anubis, we'll see who ends up claiming this Infernal as the second. It wants to be Glaive Emerald as they are moving on with the setup here. Nice stun over the wall. Landed onto Dragon Slayer, but no follow-up available here quite yet.
Yeah, they're going to try and engage on this right here, but both sides, all five are here.
Yeah, Scott pushing up forward, looking for a little bit of a death sentence here. It's going to be a big stun landed onto Snow. He manages to scare the Dragon, but what's the cost going to be? Big three-man knockup comes through from Severe, but there's no follow-up available, and into the back line is this fed Trundle, but Fox, he just gets turned around on and melted through. The rest of his team isn't able to make the difference. Panda going on in, trying to throw out the skills, is finally going to be able to finish off on a B-Kip. It's a 1-for-2, but that was a big shutdown on the Trundle that ends up going on over towards the side of, unfortunately, B-Kip. That's not where you want your big Trundle shutdown goal to end up, is on the Tahm Kench. They do get the Dragon, though. It's going to be a one fight for Glaive Emerald, and they're going to look to push this into the mid lane turret.
Yeah, now Glaive Emerald has two dragons on their side. They're unfortunately going to lose potentially this mid turret here.
Ooh, the damage from Panda still has to be respected. Luden's Echo complete. Can very easily just finish off Butternubs with whatever skills they've got left lying around. Don't need the Unleashed Power to kill the half-health Jinx, but Butternubs evades the damage where necessary. Panda's just going to push in one more wave and then look to reset with the rest of the team.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we kind of have to look at where everything's going. I mean, you have 7-1 in this game for kills. You're having that slight gold lead still being there over onto Glaive, just because of the fact that, again, they've really been getting a lot of these plate gold and haven't really had to do the objectives. So I think this is really good for them. We do have Rift coming up again here in about 5 seconds, so maybe they're going to play towards this side. We do see Snows up here, but we also see Fox is around as well.
Yeah, is chilling around here, is very strong on the Trundle. Would like to be able to get himself the Rift Herald or something of the sort, even though plates have already fallen. Is going to call up the bot lane as well. It looks like that is the call, as they're going to start on up that big purple crab. Now moving forward into the mid lane. Impulse and Scott feel very comfortable here in the 2 versus 2. Want to just keep this wave shoved on in and buy some time for Fox to be able to finish off the Herald all on his own. Panda and Dragon Slayer now relegated towards the bottom lane as Dragon Slayer has stabilized all right in the 1 versus 1, down 30 CS, but doesn't appear to be giving over any more deaths, at least hasn't recently. Now a little bit of a play being made in the mid lane. Snow gets an opportunity up against Impulse here with some nicely placed Flame Chompers. Dark Passage going to get him out of dodge. Instead, they just get control over the wave. No engage opportunity, but that's a big death sentence landed there onto Butternubs, going to force the ulti out of B-Kip. Consume now no longer available.
Yeah, B-Kip just forcibly devouring him there. And, oh.
Fox making a big move here. That's a nice use of the pillar. Going to lock on down B-Kip. Unleash power. More than enough to be able to finish off that kill. Now Shaden is going for a play in the top lane. Has landed double Cyclones there onto Severe. Not willing to dive any farther, though. Stone Skin, not enough to make that turret not scary. Going to eventually allow that Orange recall. But first turret going to fall in the mid lane as the 4-man squad of Glaive Emerald keep their push going. They're throwing down the Rift Herald here for the inner. They want even more. Gigatron as now Snow is looking to maybe get a little bit of a poke onto Ice Scout, but that's going to be the turret falling on down, and that's going to be the go button for Fox. Throws down that Subjugate, throws down that Chomp, looking to move in onto the Xin Zhao, forces him to flash away. They're not going to pick up the kill, but they're going to be very happy with that play in the mid lane.
Yeah, 2 turrets for nothing to worry about. Yeah, that's really good for them. They essentially just got to use the Rift Herald the way they wanted to, were able to push it in. And didn't even have to keep Panda there. Panda was able to still go on the bot lane, try to defuse what Dragon Slayer was trying to push up there with the lane, and yeah, it was just really good. Unfortunately, Shaden didn't get to capitalize on a kill there, but like you said, even though you have Stone Skin, you can still get chunked down pretty well with the turrets there.
Definitely can, as now Impulse back into the base, has completed his Gale Force, gets a Zeal as well, as the Mythics are starting to come on through for everybody on both sides. Severe, a little bit behind the curve, as are the supports. Took a stop off there at the Bramble Vest to be able to try to keep Shaden at bay, and so far has done an alright job of doing just that, but now facing down the Divine Sunder, are going to be a little bit on the back foot in that 1 versus 1. It's not going to get much better for this Ornn for a long time now. You've got to feel Wukong's got his first item, his weakest point is over. He's got a lot of power and a lot of armor shred now with a lot more points in that crushing blow. Snow finds a little opportunity in the mid lane, dashes on over, gets the stride breaker, but otherwise follow-up not willing to be focused on yet. Dragon Slayer trying to look for that stun, but can't find it.
Can't find it because they're playing super protective here, but they're maybe going to pick out Shaden.
Shaden still hiding here, sees an opportunity to go for the big Cyclone, but got his wits about him. He's got the self-control, be able to not dive on in there. He's going to get pawed out by Snow here a little bit. That's going to be the stride breaker for the slow. Doesn't enable the landing, though, of the Abyssal Dive. Shaden falls back to his inner turret, knows that, hey guys, every single member is up in this top lane. Here's your opportunity. Do as you please. Take what you want. They're going to start pushing in this bottom lane. They're going to start pushing in the mid lane. So far, haven't been able to accomplish too much else.
I mean, what was still even really good is, like you talked about, he restrained himself from going in with a Cyclone there. You saw everyone else go down to Drake there, and now they get their first Drake going over towards Glaive there, and then now you see that what looks like it's going to be potentially 2 turrets also get taken down here again in the bot lane. Yeah, I mean, this is just really good macro coming out from Glaive here. Glaive Emerald showing why they've been practicing this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they see all 5 members top, they take the dragon, they take the bot inner turret, they end up gold positive across the map, and you know, they're willing to let Shaden, you know, give up that top outer turret, give up a little bit of CS to be able to come out with the lead across the board. And now they're sitting here with almost a 6k gold lead, in fact exactly a 6k gold lead, and are well and truly on their way towards being able to close on out this game. They've even stopped the dragon stacking as a result, as they were able to pick themselves up Drake number 3 there.
Yeah, and this is where I think, because you're kind of hitting that mid-game stage, they can excel pretty well here for Glaive, and if they just kind of start getting more dragon stacks, especially because it's Ocean Soul, you'll just be able to regen pretty well and just deny Anubis here from having it, which I definitely would like to see with that, but we are seeing that Panda is performing pretty well here. I mean, especially with Follow Fox. They're both a really good duo. Let's play together. Oh my. Jaden.
Right. That's a little bit of a freeze coming on through there. We will see what we can do about that one as soon as possible. Oh, actually, all right, it's just me. I am DC. Okay.
Alright, but we have a lot going on here. Follow Fox is trying to go in. Hornhorn is coming out from Severe. Severe just trying to lock down everyone here, and it's going to happen. Panda getting exploded on right now. Rocket comes in. You're going to see Shaden take that big stick of his and just smack down right onto Butternose. But Severe just trying to live this out and will barely just get away from Scott's hook. Oh, Dragon Slayer flashes in right now, and they're gonna get away.
And I'm
pretty
back.
easy.
Yeah,
I see you're back. Yeah.
Hope you had a great time playing that last fight. I seem to have been lost to the Discord ether for just a short bit, but I'm coming on back here. Noticed on the main stream the game is actually still continuing and that we aren't frozen. But yeah, looks like it was another fight win there for Glaive Emerald. Hope that was a lot of fun for everybody at home to get to check on out as they're building their gold lead up to about 7K, and now looking to potentially move on to the Baron here.
Yeah, I think this could be a really good time to take it. They just need to keep those lanes pushed out more. We see Tom is hovering more towards that middle lane, especially with Annie in the bot lane there. If they could get something where they can just even get a pick, even Panda, just get a pick on the Dragon Slayer there, it'll be really good for them, so that way they can potentially secure that Baron that little bit easier.
Definitely here. It's next dragon spawning in just about a moment. Glaive gonna definitely want to keep that on their radar. They shouldn't need Soul to close on out this game. They're substantially ahead enough to be able to proceed without, but the fact that they don't want to give the Soul over to the other team is what's really to look out for there. As Panda just one-shots Dragon Slayer, catches him out a little unawares, lands the Scatter the Weak Stun, although that's going to be the go button here from the side of Severe. They blink back under the turret, use the Arc Passage to try to escape, now forcing the turret aggro onto Snow, who's just going to end up going on down here to turret shots. Scott picks up that kill. Follow Fox comes on in from the side. Butternup's trying to pick up just a single kill, but just gets one shot by Panda off the back of the TP. V-Kip now is the next one to be stunned on up. There's 4 kills picked up for nothing for Glaive Emerald, and now they're going to move on to that Baron, and it's going to be home free.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of called it too. Just get a pick on the Dragon Slayer there. It's real easy to sit in the brush, and then you still had the TP come out in the mid lane so they can kind of help out more. But really good by Scott too. Again, just to block the rocket for Impulse. Impulse played it perfectly to stay behind, and yeah, this is just free Drake there and 4 more kills going over to, or sorry, not free Drake, free Baron. I was pulling a U. Confuse our objective monsters a little bit. Yeah, this is just really good for Glaive Emerald right now.
Yeah, definitely here. They're going to claim themselves the dragon as well. Make you right, at least somewhere along the line here. And,
right.
You know, Impulse is sitting here at just playing Spectator League of Legends. He's 0-0-5. Hasn't picked up any kills for himself, but he's happy to just be sitting here, constantly being absorbing the aggro from Snow. They go really heavily for a dive onto him. He just kind of kites it on backwards, gets a couple of shots in there where he can. His team is more than ahead enough to be able to carry him through the rest of the fight. His entire top side is 5 kills apiece, and they are just beasting through this game. Sitting here at 16-3, moving the gold lead up to 10K, and soon going to be ready to bust on through that base now that they've got the Baron in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to, at this point, they're just going to get some waves going and push them for themselves. Hopefully they can leave Wukong just top here, do a maybe 4-man mid, so then this way they could get that extra push going on both lanes there. And oh, yep, Severe.
Yeah, Severe going to be caught on out here. Look at the damage from that Syndra. He's got no magic resist, has gone mostly into armor here to try to deal with his lane up against Shaden, and ooh, the extra damage there from that Void Staff, from that Shadow Flame, just melts right through Severe, takes him right down to nearly no magic resist, and allows that Ornn to be melted on through before he can ult, before he can do anything. Now, with that Baroned up Siege minion and nobody able to really step up and deal with it, nobody willing to step up and try to utilize their range as they're worried about getting engaged on by this Trundle, by this Thresh, by this Syndra. They're going to bust on through the mid lane turret. They're going to bust on through the top lane inhibitor turret as well, looking to claim themselves a couple of inhibs and threatening to maybe even end on this push. Severe going to respawn here in about 5 seconds, though. Might do a little bit to dissuade that unless they find their opportunity to go for a play. Teleport channeled in the base to go instead towards continuing to push on the bottom side. Snow going to flash on in, sees his opportunity to engage. Snow is about to fall on down. BKip going to try to keep him alive with the feast, but that's going to be another kill picked on up for the side of Impulse. Takes down 2 members. Now the kiting back as Severe trying to make a stand as well is just going to get melted on through by that Caitlyn damage. Panda going to pick off onto his lane opponent, and that is just going to be it. This is going to be game number 1. Cleanly going over to Glaive Emerald. They play out their composition as they intended to. They win every single lane, and they take game number 1 22-3.
Yeah, I mean, and the nice thing here is Impulse finally gets some kills on the board for himself, 4-0 and 5. There's a really good game coming out here from Glaive Emerald. Yeah, like this is just, it was very exciting kind of the whole time. We just had different fights that were kind of going into either side's favor, but obviously heavily went into Emerald here. And yeah, Follow Fox has just performed well. That synergy between him and Panda playing before finally kind of kicking in. And they got that great lead onto him. And then, you know, this bot lane's a really good duo that have played before. And when they came here to Emerald, yeah, they're just shining bright right now. So I was about to say bright like a diamond, but they're emeralds. So
The Diamond League, though, you can give them a little bit of credit somewhere or other. Follow Fox and Panda, though, as you said, definite MVPs of this game. You know, they had winning lanes across the board. Follow Fox was able to take full advantage of that, had his pick of the litter for where he wanted to camp, and he chose mid lane. He got Panda ahead early on. They killed Dragon Slayer like 4 times in 10 minutes. And, you know, that's a great recipe for being able to carry through and win the game. They were eventually able to transition that lead towards the top side, eventually able to even get some kills in the bottom lane. And, you know, very clean game played on out there from the side of Glaive. They punished the macro mistakes, they punished the micro mistakes, and end result of that is that the game's not particularly close. PGA going to really have to rethink their approach here coming into game number 2 if they want to be able to really stay competitive in this series.
I agree. I think we got to do a lot of change ups. Again, you have to look at if you're going to see Syndra come on from them, maybe you want to ban that just because of the fact that even though Annie and Syndra are very similar, you have a lot more power that comes out of her compared to the Annie in that case. And maybe take the Trundle away, or the Caitlyn even though the Caitlyn was, like you said, playing more spectator pretty much at the beginning, most of that game there. So, be interesting to see what PGA decides to change this second time around.
Definitely going to be. We are going to throw it to a quick break here while we get into draft for game number 2, but don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more of Glaive Emerald to take it on Predictive Gaming Anubis here in the Aegis Defenders League.
Everybody panic! Hold on! I'm about to say something really cool. 3, 41, 9, and lift off! No one dies screaming without me. I feel like I forgot to shoot something. You're starting to bore me. She's such a loser, always ready to cry. Da-da-da-da. Aw, come on. What's the worst that could happen?
Welcome back, everybody, to the Aegis Defenders League. At a couple of technical difficulties here, we are already into the picks and bans. Hecarim now going to be the lock-on in for Predictive Gaming. Anubis, they are taking the blue side here, looking to strike back up against Glaive Emerald, who are now up 1-0 in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, I mean, two change-ups real quick here that we have is the Trundle and the Syndra. Both performed very well, and PGA picking up Hecarim here, I think, is really good, because you do have to look at that Fox likes to play the Hecarim as well.
Yeah, they ended up banning it themselves on the other side in game number 1. Now going to be locking that horse in for the jungle for the side of Snow. Glaive going to take their first pick from last game. Once again, it is going to be that Thresh. Both of these support players, big fans of the Chain Warden. Now, but so far, both games, it's going to go on over towards the side of iScott. Impulse going to lock on in the Jinx this time around, clearly valuing that one over the Caitlyn. Going to be that top tier 80 carry now. Played by both sides in this series. Camille and Orianna, the lock-ons, coming on through from Predictive Gaming.
Yeah, I like the insta pick for the Camille. Like, that's just really good. I think she has really good pressure. She handles well with a lot of bruisers. Has really kind of style with, you know, the hook shot there, as well as, you know, just sets up pretty well Orianna too. Like, they both kind of locked down on someone pretty well. Between Shockwave, between the Hextech Ultimatum there, you also have Onslaught of Shadows coming out there from Hecarim too. So because of that, I feel like that's a really good mesh team fight that they're going for. It should be a really easy setup. But they pick up Jax too from Glaive. I think that's a really interesting one to go into Camille. I actually don't know how that matchup fares for him, but maybe you know a little bit better.
I think it's favorable for the Jax. You can Counter-Strike Precision Protocol, is I think the big idea here. You know, you can block away that big true damage nuke that comes on through from the Camille if you time your Counter-Strike appropriately. Spin that one back around. You know, she's really reliant on those auto attacks for damage, and Jax normally does well into those kinds of matchups. So I'd be feeling good about seeing Shaden on this pick. Really exciting to see him take on up this split pushing top laner here. He had such a very good matchup on the Wukong in game number 1. Now going to be playing carry versus carry as going to be Severe unleashed from tank duty, going to be on the Camille. The Orianna now too, they're going to be banning to defend this one, but that's going to be an opportunity to ban away bot lanes here from the side of Glaive. They banned the Nami, they banned the Lucian, or not the Lucian, they banned the Jhin. Nami Lucian is a duo, already kind of taken away there by the banning of the Nami.
Yeah, really don't need to kind of throw a pick on Lucian, but, you know, that's where the Jhin is kind of more of that deadly style that you just don't want to have to deal with. But they also ban out Olaf here for PGA, so I think that's still good. You know, makes your juggler here from Glaive try to figure out what do I really want to pick. And looks like they're going to pick up the Vex here.
Yeah, it's going to be Vex for Panda. That means they're saving Follow Fox's jungler for last. You know, you can't get him his Trundle. That's going to be banned away. So they delay this jungle until as late as possible. Knows he's going to be facing off against the Hecarim. I think they want to keep their cards open here for something like a Poppy, if there's a lot of dashes, or, you know, there's a variety of options that they could go for themselves. That Xin Zhao still going to be available. Olaf, the only additional ban levied at the jungle here. Ezreal locked on in here for the side of PGA, so Butternub's going to be looking to play a little bit safer in that bottom lane, knowing that he's up against the Jinx Thresh. Could be the Karma as the duo. BKip has played a lot of Janna as well. Played a little bit of Braum. See what he ends up wanting to lock for himself. It is that Braum being hovered, and they're going to lock it on in pretty good up against the Vex in particular, as well as that Jinx.
Yeah, I'm Braum really good for just trying to block everything out. You also have your passive where you can get your 4 stacks out for your stun. You also have a really good ultimate that's just a good knockup. That's a well for Ezreal to hopefully get some poke out and everything there. Again, really meshes in with a team fighting team that you kind of picked in this first round of draft. So I think this is going to be really exciting for them. And we see a Nocturne come out from Glaive Emerald here.
Yeah, just going in and turning themselves into a dive comp here on the last 2 picks is Glaive Esports. They've got the Vex, they've got the Nocturne. They can now go real deep onto this immobile Orianna. Gonna be a little bit tougher onto the Ezreal, but you could lock on in there, at least with the Paranoia, to try to dive on through onto him. And now they've still got this super reliable split push, 1-3-1 style. If it is what they want to go for, they could throw the Jax to the top lane, throw the Nocturne in the bottom lane, look to collapse and flank when necessary, otherwise just snag themselves some free gold in the form of turrets. PGA also looking to play the split push game a little bit with their Camille, but should not be winning up against that Jax, like we said earlier, assuming that that counter pick does go as they intend. So PGA going to be pushed a little bit more towards the 5-on-5. They have the Orianna, they have the Hecarim. That's a great duo to try to get these fights started if they can time their ultimates appropriately and really set up for a big wombo combo. And Ezreal and Braum going to be looking, of course, to Braum to protect the Ezreal and the Orianna, Ezreal to play in the backline and be pinging away with those shots.
Yeah, especially just try to protect yourself from the back line. It's kind of more that front to back again, but it's also got really good flank. You have just really good synergy, I think, with this team comp compared to their previous one in that case. So I'm really excited to see how Predictive plays this one out. See if they can get more of those team fights early on, or just get more of that pressure out, especially when you have that Vex who can roam pretty well. You have the Nocturne who's going to be trying to gank as much as possible. Not going to probably be going Axiomar because I feel like it's been a little lackluster lately, but it's one of those ones that could happen if he's getting popped off really well, and you could just keep resetting as much as possible there. But I like that this time around we do see that Impulse is going to be on the Jinx this time instead of Butternut, and we see a Jax who, again, I'm just kind of surprised that they picked that one up, but like you said, Counter Strike's going to be really good to block Camille's damage coming out from her.
Yeah, gonna be Shaden's first Jax game of the league so far, but he's not a stranger to carries in the top lane. Has played some Gwen, as I think everybody does these days. Played some Jace, played some Silas as well up there in the top lane already this season. So now going to add Jax to that repertoire as his counter pick into this Camille. Severe has drawn a fair bit of Camille bans themselves, as has Shaden. These guys are both ones who are willing to play that Camille where they can. So a pick that both should be familiar with, and that Shaden especially, having drawn a whole bunch of Camille bans this season, although not quite getting to play it, should feel pretty good with what his counter pick is going to be, knows what patterns she wants to go for, and is feeling comfortable in his ability to counter it on the Jax. Gonna be curious to see how the jungle matchup ends up swinging this one. Hecarim can be out and aggressive on the map a lot earlier than the Nocturne can. He really wants to farm on up for that paranoia. So curious to see if now, with a little bit of that timing advantage, if Snow will be able to start on out making some early aggressive plays the way that he couldn't particularly make happen on the Xin Zhao in game number 1.
Yeah, I think he can this time around. Again, you talk about you have really good mobility with them. You have, I think, that a little bit better setup, especially with the Orianna. Synergizes pretty well. You have a nice ball delivery system too, as well as, again, the Camille will have really good lockdown on someone. Anyone else not in the Hextech Ultimatum there would be, hopefully absorbed by the Shockwave coming out from Orianna, and then you could kind of just have the flank come around with Hecarim for the Onslaught of Shadows, while you have Ezreal just peppering from the back there, and Braum just being the big daddy that he is and just being protective of him in that case.
Yeah, definitely here, as getting loaded up into the game here pretty shortly. Really going to be interested to see. The mid lane matchup is one I want to look at as well. Dragon Slayer pretty much didn't get to play League of Legends in game number 1. Got shut on out on that Annie super early. Got ganked for the first death, played it out as well as he could, but, that Trundle actually really effective at ganking the mid lane in the early game. If you could get that flash out early, you can respond to the pillar post flash, pretty much guarantee yourself the kill. So, really ended up swinging that matchup super hard in Panda's favor. Now that they're back on even footing, and it's going to be the Orianna versus the Vex, really curious to see what Dragon Slayer is going to be able to make happen on the Orianna this time around. Has a little bit more range to work with, and should be substantial, has at least the chance to be a lot more in the game than he was in game number 1. So mid lane, I feel like, going to be the matchup to watch, as well as the top lane here, as we got this carry versus carry showdown.
Yeah, those are definitely the lanes I'd be focusing on, even though we did see, pretty good plays coming out from bot lane there on both sides, but I like to definitely still say focus on, because we're seeing, again, 4 brand new champions that we haven't seen yet, from this first game series, that they played previously. But I do gotta point this out. I saw that Olaf ban. How do you feel about that after being on the top of the subreddit today for League of Legends?
That's definitely not the reason that PGA
No,
picked the Olaf Renata combo is hilarious. It's a lot of fun to play. I got to throw a few games in on there, and have and get some highlight reels out of it. I'm really excited to see once that champion starts taking starts taking on the actual league once it gets enabled here in Aegis as well as in pro play. It's a little messy right now. I think there might be some adjustments to be made at some point, but until we get there, hey, go on, find a friend in solo queue, go play some Renata Olaf in the same game. It's a good bit of fun. With that said, we're gonna throw to a quick break here as we get loaded onto the Rift for game number 2. It's Predictive Gaming Anubis gonna look to strike back up against Glaive Emerald. Welcome back, everybody, to tonight's broadcast for the Aegis Defenders League. We're Predictive Gaming Anubis on the blue side. Our grouping up is 5. Looking to maybe make another early invade happen against Glaive Emerald. They did manage to steal away the red buff in game number 1. Now they're going to find Shaden here. Shaden gets spotted out as he tries to leave. They end up missing the Winter's Bite, but the snare comes on through. Going to be a nice little knockback there from Seaver, but they aren't going to be able to follow up on Shaden without that slow. A little bit of a mistake from B-Kip, going to save Shaden's life and his flash as well. They are going to be able to get the vision on down and retreat back into their own side of the map.
Yeah, still good to get the vision, but, don't really come up with anything out of it. Yeah, like, you just pop Jax's Counter-Strike, and unfortunately, Shaden doesn't flash away, so... Still good, though. Just not the way that they planned it out. Oh. Or gets spotted here.
Nice little steal away on that ward. They end up giving it over to Snow. So, yeah, I guess Dragon Slayer wasn't here, so... Sometimes give that ward over to the mid laner, make sure that he takes over to that level 2 a little bit earlier than expected, can get yourself some nice trades off of that one, but Dragon Slayer was already waiting in the mid lane for the wave to crash, and so not going to be able to claim himself that little bit of XP. Shaden starting off with the counter-strike. Gets a little bit of damage onto Sevier, but without the Empower, and up until he gets the ult, not really going to be able to seriously come out ahead of the trades as a result.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is like you saw that Camille tried to, use her hook shot, and she got stopped short in her tracks there. So it's kind of that skill matchup of trying to figure out, are they going to be able to get those traits out or not, or are they going to be able to escape? It's going to be the big issue here for this top lane. But bot side, pretty even here for the most part. See, the lane is going to go be pushed up a little bit into Anubis here, but Jaden, again, popping that counter-strike.
Yep. Fox, thanks to his ward, knows that his red buff was not stolen away this time around, so it's just going to be full clearing up towards it. Wants to get that level 6 on the Nocturne, so really going to be trying to optimize his clear as much as he can. Definitely doesn't want to end up losing out on any of his jungle camps as a result. Top lanes end up trading here as Fox once again making his first gank into mid lane. Dragon Slayer probably going to have to flash here. Does use it, gets the fear anyway. Panda flashes on in with a personal space, picks up the first blood, barely surviving, ends up going on down to the minions. It's a 1-for-1. Fox takes an extra turret shot as well. Has to be a little bit concerned about his health bar, but it is going to be the first blood going on over towards the sides of Glaive Emerald. That's going to be a 100 gold lead for Panda on the exchange.
Yeah, just really good by Panda there. Just get that flash in, try to get that extra damage out, and unfortunately, you bite off a little bit more than you can chew with the turret, but that's okay, it happens. Again, you get that little bit more of that gold lead like you talked about there. Oh, really good hook there.
Yeah, followed up with by the Flame Chompers. Flay back on in. B-Kip going to lose a substantial amount of HP as a result. Nothing to really be traded back on in by Butternubs. It's going to be a little bit before that Ezreal really can stand up a whole bunch of damage. As Fox is repeat ganking in the mid lane. Dragon Slayer has no flash. He's getting chased on down. Fear coming on through. And Dragon Slayer for the second game in a row, man. It is not looking great for you, but now here comes Snow trying to bail him on out. He's going to be able to pick up that kill on to Fox. Panda trying to trade back. Doesn't manage to land the skill. Snow going to be able to pick that one on up. And that's going to be 2 kills picked up for the side of Predictive Gaming. Anubis, I spoke too soon. They now have themselves the lead. Shaden going to be forced to flash away, going to the 1v1 with Sevier here. Looking to finish it off with the Leap Strike. Gets snared on up, but finally Shaden going to be able to finish it off with the Leap Strike.
Wow, like that is again that skill matchup there, like we were talking about. Like it's really interesting that like you had Severe just oppressively push Shaden all the way back to the turret, takes a little bit more than needed, and then is able to come back on and get countered. Use that Leaf Strike and has the counter strike up too, so this way he didn't have to worry about taking extra damage. Man, just look at that.
Yeah. Oh, actually, huge trade though for Sevier. Managed to get the tactical sweep on across. That did a lot of damage. Almost looks like he's maxing it. Production could take a look in and see if there's 2 points in tactical sweep there. Nope. All right. It just does a whole bunch of base damage, I guess. Shaden really taking the brunt of the damage there. Is going to be on the back foot once again now, this time with his teleport already down. Although it's staying back on up with the Corrupting Pot a little bit.
Yeah, Corrupting Pot, always kind of nice to have a Jax. This way you get to trade some damage. And oh my...
Yeah, alright. Shaden getting a little bit antsy there with his counter-strike. Wants to block the autos from the minions to amp on up the damage, but ends up popping it really early. Doesn't even get it onto Sevier, and now very low HP, using the Corrupting Pot once again, as well as the Vamp Scepter to try to keep himself as close to healthy as he can get. But now, especially not being under his turret anymore, he's got to play pretty safe up against this Camille.
Yeah, and I didn't get to talk about it too, but Snow just performed very well in that mid lane there. Got that counter gank off needed and just was able to, again, just really punish out both, was it Fox and Panda there. So I really do like that. So that means you're getting a little bit more of that lead now to Dragon Slayer, that 2 1-1. Trying to regain that gold, that difference a little bit there. But Shaden.
Jungler's in the top lane. Note that Snow is level 2. Fox is not going to get chased onto here. Tries to block away there. Using that spell shield is going to be able to possibly retreat back to this turret, but that's going to be another kill going on over to the swords of PGA. Nice move there onto Shaden, going to get themselves an even bigger lead for Sevier's Camille. The kill gets picked up by Snow, though. Is now incredibly strong in this jungle matchup. The horse already got 2 kills, got an assist as well. Fox still just trying to scoop up whatever he can to try to get himself up to level 6 and make something happen.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to see what he can do, but I think that's the big thing is you're trying. You're not able to kind of get to that point yet. I think you have to hit 6, and then it gets a little bit more into your favor. You are going for more of that Strikebreaker build, too. So hopefully he can get a good engage on someone where he can get that trail going, see if it can slow him down, get the fear off, and hopefully help out someone in the lane. But we do see that, again, that lead in mid lane, like we were talking about, we're going to watch mid and top, is still hanging over there for Dragon Slayer. Impulse.
Yeah. Butternut's taking a fair bit of damage there from Impulse. The spot lane has been going pretty well for them thus far. They've been able to keep it shoved in for the most part. Butternut's down at half HP from that extended trade. Impulse really stacking up the lethal tempo there, getting up a whole bunch of shots. Can't really be blocked away by B-Kip. Nothing really available to trade back up against this Jinx. She ends up coming out ahead. Shaden has a little bit of a level lead somehow here in this top lane, so trying to push her that up against Severe, but Severe feeling just fine with how he's been able to farm out this lane so far. Ooh, big trade comes on through there with the ulti proc from Shaden. Looking to start to turn around this top lane matchup a little bit more.
Yeah, I think this is definitely potentially going to go into Severe's standpoint just because of the fact that, again, early on, it's kind of a skill matchup. Later on, you know, we do see usually Jax become a Mad Titan and, you know, you get that Thanos glove snap, but it's going to be inevitable at some point. But I do like that the Camille is trying to put some life to her, is able to kind of keep up there. You know, you do see that there is that CS lead, even though you do have a kill going over to Shaden there in that case.
Yeah, starting up on the Rift Herald here. Snow is in the top side, trying to interrupt this, chasing down onto Shaden. He might be going a little bit over aggressive here, though. That's going to be the Paranoia pop. They look to get the engage here onto the Orianna, but it's not going to end up landing. A nice shockwave comes on through. They're turning this fight all the way around. Now in the bot lane, they're engaging. B-Kip going to end up going on down to iScott, but the top side fight, Fox and Shaden get caught on out. The Shadow Surge doesn't land onto the target they were looking for from Panda, and that's going to be 2 kills picked up for the side of Predictive Gaming Anubis.
Yeah, just the 2-for-1 there. Really good job, again, by Snow and Dragon Slayer. Had a really good shockwave, had a really good onslaught of shadows. You split everyone up, you locked down who you needed, and like you talked about, just unfortunately Shadow Surge doesn't go on the right person. You're able just to still blow up Fox pretty easy there, and yeah, that's the kind of underwhelming thing that people don't realize sometimes with Nocturne is he's very squishy, and he can't perform sometimes as well if he's in more of that matchup where you have Snow, who will eventually become more tankier as you see the chem tank coming out of him, so won't be as easy to kill.
Yeah, Snow's pretty monstrous now on this Hecarim, has the CDR boots completed as well, is very, very strong here, coming back out onto the base to continue his farming journey. In the bottom lane, Impulse has been able to get himself a fair bit ahead. Now, unfortunately, ended up with the assist off of that kill in the bottom lane, but still is going to be happy with how that 2v2 lane is going, especially as the top side seems to be crumbling a little bit here. You know, definitely spoke way too soon on Dragon Slayer, looking at him almost dying to the second gank, scared that he might end up with a similar situation to what we saw in game number 1, but has turned it around beautifully, now sitting at 3-1 and 2 on the Orianna. Has completed his Mythic, has completed his boots too, before Panda has on either, and is now sitting very pretty in that mid lane, ready to have a lot of influence into the mid game on this Orianna.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to look at it too, like, oh, Shaden.
Yeah, Shaden and Severe trading back onto each other. That's going to be the ulti used, as that's going to be the Shadow Surge just barely landing. It looked like it was getting dodged away from by that Hextech ultimatum. Does not end up working out that way. Panda now getting collapsed onto, going to be forced to flash over that wall, but that's going to be a kill in the top lane for Shaden and Panda.
Yeah, to be honest, same thing. I thought it didn't hit either, and luckily did, which is really good by Panda there, so that way he's able to lock down and help out there. Unfortunately, you have to pull a flash to get over the wall there, but...
Okay, Impulse stepping up a little bit aggressively, but now the turnaround coming on through. Snares himself on those Flame Choppers, dodge away from Impulse, takes the Dark Passage to avoid another Mystic shot, and Fox gets himself on the board in the bottom lane, right off the back of picking himself up the second dragon here. Glaive Emerald, they do not want this to go to game 3. They are fighting back here, getting themselves back within 1K of Predictive Gaming.
Yeah, I think you have to look at the other thing too. You had the Kraken Slayer Mythic compared to just the Essence Reaver coming out from Ezreal. So you're slightly starting to get there for the Jinx. You now have 2 assists on her as well. So this way, Impulse is starting to potentially get maybe some more kills for himself. Hook comes out.
Yeah, that was, I'm not sure if that was blind. They might have seen him go in on a ward, but Scott calls on out Snow. Says, hey, I know you're in here. Throws on over the line. Hooks himself a big horse. And Snow going to be convinced to walk away as a result there. Scott feels his job is done, takes the recall. Now, once again, junglers hovering around the top lane, want to try to spin around that matchup. Sevier has kept pushed up into Shaden. Been able to pick up the Rift Herald already. Snow has not found a place to throw that one down yet, and the timer is ticking down. Looking for mid lane here, potentially. Panda getting engaged, not going to throw on down the Everfrost, not going to be enough. Can't interrupt the dash. That's going to be Dragon Slayer going on a rampage as Panda just has nowhere left to go there in that 3-man gank. Now, that's going to be the Rift Herald thrown on down in the mid lane. Follow Fox is coming to respond. Butternup's getting aggressed onto the bottom lane. Impulse has them very low. Fires out the Super Mega Death Rocket. Doesn't land. Now they are going to just claim themselves their turret plate and retreat back here as Follow Fox is forced to deal with the mid lane.
Yeah, unfortunately he has to deal with the mid lane. Dragon's not going to be up for another 3 more minutes. Oh, Shaden just, again, always doing these trades into here on the Severe, trying to weaken them as much as possible, but we did see, like you talked about, Impulse just raining down on them here between Butternuts and B-Kip. Look at how low they are. I'm actually really scared for them right now.
Yeah, they're just not really able to contest this Jinx in the laning phase here, especially now that she's got some assist gold in her pockets. Although here comes Snow trying to run interference, going to walk right into Follow Fox. So here's the junglers going in for that 1v1. That's going to be the sped up Hecarim zooming away there. Doesn't care about the slow from the fear thanks to his phase rush. So he just zips away from Nocturne way faster. Will be able to escape as a result, but this is going to be actually first turret going into the bot lane. They're trying to give solo gold over to Impulse, get as much onto this Jinx as possible. She's got to be so strong now with 5 turret plates in the bottom lane picked on up for this AD carry.
Yeah, so much stronger. I mean, you have to look at it's almost a 30 CS lead against still the 2 assists. You basically have 1,300 gold lead as well too coming out there onto Impulse. So yeah, this is just really good advantage for him right now. Again, taking the lead, making sure that he can try to be that a little bit more oppressive there. Unfortunately, not getting kills yet. Kind of seeing what we saw last time around in first game, but doesn't mean that in a team fight he won't pop off and be able to again free reign on people with those rockets.
Rotating the bot lanes to mid lane now is the side of Glaive Emerald. Impulse has gotten himself that bottom lane turret. That's now Panda's territory to hang around in and try to farm up wherever he can, and they're going to just try to funnel more gold into this Jinx through the mid lane. Will give them the opportunity to flex this point of power now more around the map, going to be closer to wherever the action is breaking out. Paranoia is back available for Follow Fox. He does want to get up to level 11 to maybe make it a little bit stronger here. Now, this is where all the gold lives, though, for the side of Predictive Gaming Anubis. 3 kills on the Hecarim, 4 on the Orianna, and that's going to be a big catch coming on through onto Impulse. He's CC'd for too long. He can't get to the Lantern, and Snow goes on a rampage as he takes out the Jinx.
Yeah, just really good layering of the team fighting CC that I was talking about between B-Kip there and Snow. So, yeah, Snow just played it the way they needed to. Again, Butternup's able to free fire. No problem there, so really good job at scaring. Unfortunately, would have loved to seen the kill potentially go over to Butternups there, but it's fine. You can take the assist.
Definitely here, and once again, that's just going to be Snow building himself up a bigger and bigger lead. He and Dragon Slayer are the main focus points here for this composition for Predictive Gaming Anubis. They do have that big team fight wombo combo with 2 of their ultimates. Saw a little preview of that up against Impulse there as the chain CC kept him from being able to escape from the engage. Now Follow Fox getting face check into both of them here as they're going to look to pick themselves up another one. Dragon Slayer goes unstoppable, and that's going to be their first dragon of the game here, guaranteed, as the jungler is off the map for the foreseeable future. Shaden looking for maybe a little bit of a trade here up against Severe, but doesn't want to tank up the turret, is instead going to go over for the proxy. Super Mega Death Rocket goes a little bit wide, but now the chase following through onto Camille. Shaden finishes off that 1v1, and now it's going to be Dragon Slayer's TP used, but a nice little Dark Passage out from Shaden, going to protect him and keep him from giving any more gold over to that Orianna.
Yeah, we do see that they're both starting here. The Rift Hero looks like, unfortunately, mid is going to go down for Glaive here, but this means then we are going to see a 1-on-1 tie also on the Rift, but we do have the 2 Dragon advantage still going over to Glaive here. Dragon Slayer caught in a weird spot right now.
He has the flash, probably doesn't want to expend it here unless he sees an opportunity to get a kill, but he's kind of giving him the wraparound, and he's out. He was stuck on the wrong side of the map up against 3 members, and he just kind of weaves his way in on out of there. Shaden and Impulse can't get too close because they're at risk of being one-shot, and that allows Dragon Slayer to actually blow his flash and escape there.
Because even with the hook, like, you're like, okay, you know what, worst case scenario, oh, I die on turret here if I don't expend my flash, but it's also just really good that, you kind of saw that fancy footwork, knowing, like, hey, these 2 really can't step up too much because I could pop them very easily, but it's also the fact of, like, hey, you know what, just trying to play that heads up of, all right, I need to get out of here. What's the best way to get out? Do I run into their base and just kill myself that way, or do I get away from their turret here and see if I can, choose better pathing? And it did go into his favor that way, so it's really nice to see that you're still able to kind of do that fancy footwork.
Definitely here. So now, rotating back up to the top lane, they're just going to keep their Orianna where they had her. Shaden finding a little opportunity in the bottom lane. That's going to be the Paranoia popped as well, as they're looking to move more gold onto this Jax, and they're going to get it. Shaden finishes off that kill up against Severe. Now it's 0 and 4. It's just gotten bullied in this matchup, and now Follow Fox manages to swing it around into Shaden's favor again. Here comes the Hecarim coming to try to turn this around in the 1 versus 2, and he's strong enough to be able to do it. Follow Fox can't find the flash angle, finally manages to get himself over the wall, and in a 1 versus 2, Snow is just forcing back the top and jungle of the opposing squad. Impulse has now arrived to give them a little bit of backup. Has to be careful not to face check. Gonna get Dark Passage down out of there as they disengage.
Yeah, I mean, had the traps down too. I think it's just really good there that they're trying to do what they can. I mean, they take down Severe pretty quickly there, surprisingly, just because of the fact that you would think, hey, maybe she could last a little bit longer. But Butternut, look at that peppering you're taking right now from those rockets.
Yeah, Super Mega Death Rocket is available. Is Impulse going to throw it away? Looks like the answer is no. A little bit too worried about the Unbreakable Shield coming on through from B-Kip. Not going to expend the ultimate this time around, but it is going to be a recall forced there out of Butternubs and B-Kip both, as they get the wave pushed up in mid once again, and now can take their own recall. Resetting across the map here. Next Dragon is up in about a minute 50. Baron hitting the map in about 15 seconds. This is 2 strongest members of Predictive Gaming Anubis hanging out in the top lane. Snow and Dragon Slayer have made every play this game together pretty much, both at pretty high kill participation, all in all. Now, maybe going to want to keep that control here with Big Purple Worm on the map.
I think so. If you can kind of just keep Snow hovering around Dragon Slayer, again, that's where Snow is going to be really good with those flanks. Kind of a thing set up for B-Kip and Dragon Slayer to get some really good CC out there. Even Severe comes in, and needs to do that Hextech Ultimatum or that hookshot stun to make sure that you can lock some people down. But that's where I look at, you have Shaden who can kind of block that with Counter-Strike. You have Follow Fox who has Shroud that he could use to block it. You have the Fear also coming out from Panda too. And you have Scott's box whenever needed. So I think that's kind of really good to kind of figure out, okay, is this more of a we go all in and engage that way, or is it we need to disengage because we overcommitted a little too much, from either side kind of standpoint whenever they fight. So
Teleport available for both mid laners here as they're hanging out on the top side. Everybody else on both squads is grouping around bottom, knowing that this dragon is going to spawn here in about 20 seconds. It's going to be Glaive Emerald with the initial setup, moving on over to try to push their vision more into the enemy jungle. Shaden finding a little opportunity here on to Severe, and once again, that's going to be the Paranoia popped on through. Nice dodge comes on through there from that that Hextech Ultimatum, but Impulse shows on up to make the rest of the damage happen, picks up that kill. Meanwhile, the rest of Predictive Gaming Anubis, they're looking to start this siege in the mid lane. They want to just take as many turrets as they can, as they feel like Glaive has over-indexed on the bottom lane. They're going to be able to pick up the inner. This is going to be third Dragon going on over to the side of Glaive Emerald in trade for this mid-inner turret, but now the Baron's on the table as well. Glaive going to have to burn this one down quickly, and now look to respond to what Predictive Gaming is threatening.
I think if Predictive Gaming can get like a kill or two here onto Glaive Emerald, I think then this Baron goes to them very easily. Unfortunately, you do have to see that the Drake does go to Glaive there, which means now they're going to have that 3-1 lead on the Drakes, but we do see Baron is started up here.
Glaive just completely disrespecting the potential that they've gone on over and started Baron. They just go back to farming. Now maybe realizing that something might be up, but it could be a little bit too late. Nocturne is nowhere nearby. It's a 3k HP as they spot it on out there with Scott's Dark Passage. They finish it on off. They don't even manage to pick up the kill onto Severe. Super Mega Death Rocket comes on over, but that's going to be a free Baron picked up for the side of Predictive Gaming Anubis as they are trying to manage their escape. Shaden threatening to flank, chasing them back on through their jungle. They've called on over Panda as well. Paranoia back available for Follow Fox, but they can't get him close enough. Is just going to be the clean escape here from the side of PGA. They get away with the Baron.
Yeah, and I know when I was talking to one of the players here from Glaive Emerald, they were kind of worried about like focus. Like sometimes a lot of the games they can have good focus throughout to a certain point, and then there's points where some of the lanes just kind of start, not tunneling, but not keeping that extra vision, keeping the head on the swivel and everything, and then kind of bites them a little bit more. And because of that, that's where they're trying to focus more on live games. Where I feel like that first game we saw them do it pretty well. This second game they're trying to. I think it's just again, like you said, they overestimated the fact that they might be on Baron in that case there, but we really don't see them using the Baron too much, other than just Severe here now on the bot side. You do see now that Dragster is trying to get that top side going, so hopefully they can get that split matchup. See if they can get that waves going into those turrets there.
Definitely here. Snow clearing out his red buff, as they're going to want to probably group up and push in one of these side lanes with the Baron, claim themselves some additional inner turret gold where they can get it. They've got about 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go until this next dragon is going to be available, and want to definitely make the most of that time that they've got this purple buff on them. Pushing into the bottom lane, that's going to be the first on the menu. Severe going on in, Panda going to stop the engage there, and going to back on away with the personal space used. Should be bot lane outer turret claimed without too much trouble once this next wave comes on in. A couple members of Glaive Emerald are getting called over.
We do see that. Oh, Snow.
Alright, Panda getting a little bit engaged on here. Has Follow Fox for the backup. Snow feels comfortable taking this, though. Has Severe coming up over the wall. Panda going to be forced into the stasis. Follow Fox now chasing back. Going to try to get this fear here onto Severe. Going to force him to use that Hextech Ultimatum. Panda lands the ultimate, dives on in, gets the two-man fear, gets the reset, gets another one, throws it on through. Impulse finishes off on a B-Kip. That's a 2-for-0 for the side of Glaive Emerald as they take control back on this bottom side and get 2 Baron buffs off the map.
Yeah, it's really good by them. Just the heads up of like, hey, we need a kite. We need to play this safe. Make sure that when they overcommit here, that we can collapse, which is what we saw. And they're able to, again, just use Shadow Surge and just get onto people and do a lot of damage. And because of that, now that really punishes Anubis here. Oh my.
The next dive going to be on to Shaden, but the turnaround from Follow Fox is coming on through. Paranoia is arrived. That is going to be the kill heading on over, but the flash over the wall to meet onto Dragon Slayer. Big shutdown going on over to Panda. Snow is fast enough to be able to escape, but he has had to leave his buddy behind. It's going to be a 1-for-1, but that's a big shutdown coming on through from the side of Glaive, and they're looking to keep this going. Collapsing through onto Snow. He is there. Death Sentence doesn't manage to land, but the Flay does. Looking to chase farther onto the Hecarim. The Orianna not here to be able to provide that backup. They steal away the blue buff. Snow continues to escape with his life, though. Has to expend the Ghost.
Yeah, it does have to expend it. It's a little unfortunate because now, if you need it for the Drake that's coming up here in about 45 seconds, you're not going to have it. You luckily still have Onslaught of Shadows there, but doesn't mean that it's going to help out necessarily. It might be more of that escape tool needed, if anything, but really just depends on how both teams respond here. I'm hoping that we see a good 5v5 fight here and that they're not just focusing on splitting lanes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yours. That's going to be all 5 members of PGA focused on towards the bottom side. The dive coming on through here, though, that's going to be severe. Taken out before the 4 teammates can even arrive, and now the collapse is here. Impulse and Scott are here. They realize where the other 3 members are, or the other 4, rather. Impulse going to flash away from both Hecarim and Orianna ultimates. He's likely going to end up going on down here, though, as True Shot Barrage lands over the wall, but that's going to be the dive in through from the backside. Panda has found his way onto the carries. He's taken out the Ezreal, he's taken out the Orianna, and that's going to be another big fight coming on up for Glaive Emerald. This should be their Dragon Soul if they are able to finish off onto Snow here, or at least keep him chased away. Panda chasing on through with the Shadow Surge, going to force Hecarim back deeper into the blue side jungle, as they are just going to be able to close on out here and claim themselves this Dragon Soul.
I mean, this is really good for them. They played it out the way they needed to. You had bunch of kills go over to Glaive Emerald here, and just because of that, you're just looking at, hey, they're able to again secure this I can't talk tonight, Ocean Soul here, and now this is even more impressive because anytime Shaden tries to go in, you have the lethal tempo going on him. You can get some really good lifesteal going, and same thing for Impulse here. Like, Impulse will be able to sustain pretty well with the range, able to do a lot with this too, and I see that they're trying to set up here for this Baron that's about to come up here in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, getting some of those control wards down early. Scott looking to camp on out in a bush. Going to be spotted on out there by the control ward coming on across the wall, but Siege in mid lane is strong. Will be able to push back on that big wave. Will be able to get themselves priority to move on over towards this Baron. Just firing off the zaps, keeping control of the bot lane. Going to be in Shaden's favor now for sure. He's got a 2-level lead over this Camille. Camille is 0-7. Really just been forced out of this game by a lot of ganks from the Nocturne, by a lot of constant ganks coming on through. His Follow Fox going to get caught on out, though. That's going to be a big shockwave coming on through, going to take that jungler off the map, and that's going to be potentially the second Baron in a row going on over towards PGA. It looks like Glaive are making the call to just give this one on up and just try to force through mid lane, taking a page out of PGA's book. They will be able to get themselves this inner turret, but this is going to be a Baron coming on over for Snow and team. They managed to once again pick on off Fox.
Yeah, I think that's where, like, you're trying to see where everyone's at, but if you don't have more of your mates there to help protect you, unfortunately, Fox is going to fall down there. And I look at maybe if they had a little bit more warding and tried to peek through a little bit more carefully, could have gone a different way there, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, you do see that he did fall, and now you have the Baron over here again onto Anubis here, and I like really want to see how they use it this time around, see if they can get actually more of those turrets down, and that it's not just being like a defensive buff, of being like, oh, well, we can take this, so you don't have it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, certainly here they are not left with any outer turrets to take quite anymore, and they've already got the mid inner as well, but they're looking to keep this siege going, maybe move on to the mid inhibitor turret if they can. Shaden getting called back here. Severe getting a little bit caught. That's going to be stolen away by Follow Fox. Does have the blue buff for himself. They're trying to regroup here on the side of Glaive Emerald. A little bit on the back foot with that Baron buff, but they do still have the Ocean Soul to rely on. Follow Fox has the Paranoia. They could look for an engage opportunity. Scott throws out the death sentence. Doesn't land it onto anybody. The siege is going to continue in the mid lane.
So, siege of mid lane, you did have other lanes pushing up. We see that. Again, Emerald's trying to clear out as much as they can, see who they can find out here in the jungle. Oh, no show. That shows Snow.
Looking to maybe make the dive happen. Starts speeding up for the charge, but doesn't end up using it. Now, it's still going to be 2 minutes to go until Elder. There's not much in the way of objectives to be had on this side of the map. They are going to end up just backing away here, not really able to get anything started with the Baron buff. It's going to be falling on off. They just so far have not been able to find a hole in the armor of Glaive Emerald, and so they managed to withstand the Baron buff.
Yeah, this was kind of my concern is, like, when you get the Baron, how are you going to provide the use of that to push out those lanes? And yeah, they were pushing mid, and they did get some push down there on that bot side, but now you have to look at, you could have maybe thrown someone up there on that top side, try to get that turret down there, and I'll hopefully come out with something, you know, from the Baron again. But you know, sometimes those Baron power plays can only be used more of a defensive standpoint and just make sure that the other team doesn't have it.
Yep, gold is pretty much neck and neck as a result. Slight lead to the side of PGA. Now, it looks like both squads are just going to kind of be waiting here for the Elder to spawn on up in about a minute, clearing on out their waves as they come on through, clearing on out their jungle as they spawn, and getting ready for once that team fight breaks on out. Glaive, on paper, should be pretty favored in these fights as a result of, A, that their Jinx has gotten really, really strong and really well scaled up, and B, that they have this Ocean Soul to just keep giving them all those additional stats. The gold value of the Ocean Soul substantially more than something like a Baron, and is really going to be pushing that invisible lead much higher in the favor of Glaive Emerald.
Yeah, I mean, if they could get that gold lead going for them, I think it's going to be really good, just because then maybe they can get a team fight going that goes in their favor, can get more of those turrets down there from between the outer, I should say not outer, inner and inhibitor turrets, and maybe we'll crack down the base there a little bit better without having to use a Baron.
Yeah, Fox is behind them, is looking for the potential engage here with the Paranoia, but they're doing a good job of staying grouped up. Panda so far hasn't been able to rain too much poke on down, is too concerned about stepping up too close up against the poke damage that the Ezreal and the Orianna provide. That's going to be the Elder Dragon started on the up by the side of PGA. Here comes Glaive looking to try to get the fight started. Shaden leading the charge, goes on through, lands the stun onto multiple members. There's that Shadow Surge landed on the backline, but Impulse is getting engaged on by Snow, going to be forced to flash away. The chase is coming on through, but finally he's going to be able to chase back onto this Jinx and finish him on off, but meanwhile they've already lost onto the side of Butternubs. Shaden is carrying through this fight, has so much damage available. There's another Shadow Surge coming on through to land on the Severe, going to be able to finish that one on off, and Shaden has one more carry in his sights. That's going to be the Vex coming on through to finish that one off, and that's going to be a 5-for-2 ace for the side of Glaive Emerald. They should pick themselves up the Elder Dragon off of this, and maybe even try to break open the base.
Yeah, this is really good and really crazy by Glaive Emerald there. Yeah, you had it where you had that really good flank of throwing the Jackson on top of getting Panda there, like you talked about, getting into that back line pretty freely with the Shadow Surge, and there really wasn't kind of like an answer back. You would have maybe thought, with the Hecarim moving around as fast as he was, he may have been able to block that and try to counteract in that case, but unfortunately that's where Shaden and team just pretty much was able to kind of kite back. Unfortunately, you did have to lose Impulse there, but again, you got the kill on Snow, you get the ace across the board, you get the Elder Drake here for yourself, so now this next team fight should go pretty close more into your favor, and you have a Baron cut up here in 5 seconds.
Yeah, this should be a really easy Baron to pick up for the side of Glaive Emerald, knowing that they have this Elder buff at their backs, knowing that all their abilities are already back on up. Going to be jumping over the wall, going to use the Dark Passage to pull on over his 80 carry. They've already started it on up, and the side of PGA, they know that they can't really contest for this one. They're just trying to push on through mid lane instead. It's going to take a little while for them to really get the minions on up there, and the Baron is already down for the side of Glaive Emerald.
And as quickly as it was, I mean, you have to look at, okay, how is Anubis going to respond with this? And I think that, hey, they could potentially get that push there on that bot side. You see that top's really cracked right now. See if you can run a 4-1 or that 1-3-1 and see if you can put more of that pressure into that mid bot side so you can take that turret up there. But we'll see what they try to do here. I do like that they're trying to get this push coming out now from Glaive here, so this way that they can try to use their Baron efficiently as they can. But again, might be a game of we don't get to really take anything.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they should really get to take a lot of things, because they've got themselves the Elder Dragon, they've got themselves the Baron. This is all the buffs you can get. You got the Soul, you got the Elder, you got the Baron. If you can't pull the trigger now, when are you going to do it? As finally they are managing to crash in some waves here. They do get the bot inner, they get the top inner. Now finally things are starting to kind of start to collapse here for the side of PGA. They're going to look up on this top side to see if they have an opportunity to engage. They get a lot of damage onto Panda with that True Shot Barrage, but only really got one of those. Shaden still pushing in the bottom lane, has busted on through that inhibitor turret, is going to get the inhibitor as well. We'll see if the side of PGA, they want to pull the trigger on this top side. Meanwhile, Shaden is getting onto the base. He's going to be able to melt through this first turret pretty quickly. He keep immuning himself to the auto attacks coming on from Severe. They have to keep 4 on this top side, though, as they got to be concerned about the dive potential from Fox going on in there with the Paranoia. It's a difficult situation here to play out from the side of PGA. They've got to pull the trigger somewhere, but so far have not been able to. That's going to be their third inhibitor falling on down. Meanwhile, still knocking on the door is Shaden. These Baron minions are going to take on out the first Nexus turret. Second Nexus turret going very low as well. Jinx getting excited off the back of that. The fight's getting started now, but it might just be a little bit too late. Paranoia comes on through. Hextech ultimatum as well, but Panda is safely in the back line. Impulse is right there with him. The front to back is all in the favor of Glaive Emerald, and they are going to take this series 2-0.
And this was a kind of crazy one too, because you had it be going towards Anubis there for a while, and you just had to worry about if Glaive could crawl back from this, and they did. They were able to, again, just get all the turrets there. They had the Baron going for themselves. They did get that Dragon Soul there on top of having the Elder Drake there. So it really was just trying to find that point of having that siege collapse go onto Anubis here, and they finally got to that point of taking it. This is why they get the game series.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely a fantastic series all around, coming on through from the side of Glaive Emerald, maybe. As Glaive Emerald's the name of that team.
Yeah.
It's a huge performance there from the squad. You know, they come on through and had a really successful series. They had a fantastic game number 1, played it out super cleanly, and in game number 2, it was a little bit closer. There was a lead for Predictive Gaming Anubis, but they steeled themselves. They followed up through the rest of the match, and they ended up claiming themselves the Dragon Soul. They played towards their win conditions. They found their engages, really bullying onto Severe there, just continuously. They found one lane that they could successfully gank with the Nocturne, and they just threw him there over and over and over again, knowing that if they could get Shaden's Jax ahead, they would be able to be successful.
Exactly, because again, like we talked about, it was a skill matchup, and it kind of was going either way. Sometimes just because of the fact that when they were getting their ganks going for themselves, it could go from one side to the other. But yeah, once you had Fox just kind of just dive in a Severe, knowing that hey, you could overcommit Hextech ultimatum onto someone, and then now you can go run out, and now that person isn't trapped anymore, and they could chase you down. It usually was Shaden at that point. Or you had Panda come up and could use Sail Surge and just get on top of them. So, again, just really good use of, 1, the Vex, 2, eventually figured out how to have the Nocturne focus on the right people, which, again, this was kind of what Emerald was trying to figure out, is having more focus in their series, which I think they did pretty well in both of the games here. They're able to kind of get to that point of, like you said, who do we need to get snowballed here? And you had Shaden get there. You also had Panda get there. Impulse, right around the same point as last time, has some kills on the board for himself. Gets a lot of assists. Sometimes it's that auto CS mode, auto farm mode of we got that 373. Man, he farmed a lot this game here.
Yeah, looks like we're gonna have Fox, that is, join us for a little bit of an interview here very shortly. Excited to have him on to talk about his gameplay in the first 2 and the only 2 games of the night here. They are going to move on up to 3-0 though, at a 6-1 game record. So I do think we are joined here by Fox. Should have permissions to speak. Congratulations on your win tonight, Fox. As How do you feel about how your drafts went in tonight's games?
Thank you. And I mean, I think they went well. I think we drafted exactly how we wanted to versus that team. Kind of choked out their top laner's pool, and he couldn't play the game.
Yeah, I mean, you capitalized it on, I think, both times. You really saw that the Ornn was getting bullied after a while with the Wukong in the first game, and then the second one was really helped a lot by you because you were able to, again, just once you kind of found that rhythm, go and collapse on him. And even again, it was kind of doing a 3-man where it was between you, Vex, and Jax there, just able to lock down Sphere, and now Sphere can't do anything. So it's like either Sphere has to overcommit to try to kill one of you, but couldn't necessarily do that either at the same time because you have your Shroud that will block, the first hit that's coming in. You expect her at that point to Hextech Ultimatum somebody, and you also just have, again, the Shadow Shirt just able to bring out that fear, when she gets on top there, that, yeah, it's just really great that you guys drafted a really good comp.
Yeah, coming into game 2, we knew they were going to pick Camille. They're not banning it. We banned out his other 2 champs. Shaden we were set up to pick Jax, play to the Jax lane. Once he gets ahead, Camille can't match, and I mean, it was my fault early game getting that Hecarim ahead. If that doesn't happen, I mean, the game's over well before that, but I think we adjusted well early. Panda got some kills, ended up just ulting all over the map and just winning the game for us.
Is that what informs the Nocturne pick as well? I know you saved the R5 there for your jungler. Was that just to more further index on getting this Jax ahead? I know that's how the game ended up playing out, as you're just camping Sevier over and over again, just continuing to use that paranoia on cooldown, ending him up at 0 and 7, 0 and 8 by the end of the game there. Is that the reasoning behind the jungle selection as well?
We knew, I think, like, R3 that we were going to pick Nocturne if it wasn't banned. I didn't pick it till R5 just because we were hoping they wouldn't go Ezreal. We were hoping they were going something more immobile bot, so it's just easier to kill, but they were smart, picked Ezreal. But yeah, just picking the Nocturne, yeah, it makes it hard for them to play the game. Even if Hecarim gets on our mid laners or top laner, I can ult and just help save them and get in the fight right away.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good of you guys there. I know you kind of talked about it with me before that you guys had that good synergy between you and Panda there, and yeah, I definitely saw it. I mean, you guys were captivating in both games, just trying to create pressure all over, get those kills. I mean, you guys were blowing up the ante really well, and yeah, your Trundle pick was really good. You had really good pillars, you had good subjugates out there, especially with Panda and Syndra. Syndra was just able to just blow people up. I mean, we even saw how she could just shred through Ornn at one point. It was just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, their mid laner has no wave management, so I realized that just by watching their last games that they played. So we just picked Trundle, and they picked something immobile, and the game's over for him. He flashes level 1 or whatever it was at 2 minutes, and then he's dead the rest of the game. He can't play the game anymore. He has to sit at his tower, or he just dies on repeat, and that's kind of what happened. I hit R on Ornn late game, and I never die, and Syndra just obliterates everybody. So yeah, Panda played really well. He made a lot of good calls for me to come mid and help him, so props to Panda.
Does a lot of the shot calling run through then you and Panda for how you guys usually dictate these games, or is it kind of more of a collaborative effort between everybody on the squad?
I would say early game, it's Panda, I, and Scott usually, depending on where I'm playing to. Shaden's usually he wins lane by himself. He's just better than a lot of the top laners in this league, so he just wins lane by himself. So we just leave him alone usually, and he'll come in mid late game and have a lot of really good shot calling as well. So yeah, I'd say in the early game it's just Panda and myself, usually making roams, making plays, objectives and whatnot.
It's good to see. I know you talked to me about you guys wanted to work on focus, and yeah, I really think you guys had it this time around. You talked about it even in the second game. Here, unfortunately, you had some kills going away ahead of time to the Hecarim, but you guys kind of reeled yourselves in together there. You kind of focused on, okay, where do we need to put this pressure so this way we get myself back into the game, we get everyone else kind of more of that ahead and everything there. And I think you guys played it pretty well, and again, just I think your goal of like you said was just trying to get more focus. I think you guys played it really well. It just unfortunately took a little longer, like you talked about, for the second game.
Yeah, I mean, after the good thing was that actually that Hecarim got fed, which was really good for us because then we just get deep wards in jungle, play away from him. I mean, we have Nocturne, we can ult anywhere on the map after I hit level 11, so we see he's topside, we ult bottom on Seaver, he's dead, and they can't answer it. I mean, we have wards and vision on him pretty much the whole time.
It's great to hear. Well, thank you so much for joining us here, Follow Fox. I want to hand it over to you here for our before we close it on out for the night. Anybody you want to shout out? Anything you want to say to anybody watching before we close on out the ADL for the week?
Just shout out to my team. Proud of them. They played really well. I mean, they carried me game 2, so I can't do it without them.
Awesome to hear. Congratulations on 3-0. We'll leave you guys to go celebrate. Thanks everybody at home for tuning on into tonight's broadcast. And from myself, Gigatron, and Simalcrum on production, have yourselves a great night. We'll see you next week.